Hi, we're the Sutherland families, and this is our story. This is Abby. Abby was diagnosed with diabetes when she was 4 years old. Abby's now 7, going on 8. John and I decided back when she was first diagnosed to start Abby's Friends. We wanted to raise awareness in the community, in the Charleston community, for type 1 diabetes. There was nothing in Charleston to talk about type 1. It was all about type 2. So we founded Abby's Friends. Abby's Friends' mission is not only to raise awareness, but also while you're here to help us raise money for the 3 charities that help children with type 1. MUSD Children's Hospital, the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, and Camp Adam Fisher. There's some families that are going to speak to you in a moment that will tell you how those 3 organizations have affected their life. Would you like to say something?
Have a wonderful time at Abby's Friends, and I'll probably see you there. Maybe if my mom lets me go.
Maybe, okay.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Hi, we're the Davies family. My name is Joe. This is my wife Sue, my oldest son Mitch, and my youngest son Cameron. Cameron is just turning 7. He was diagnosed with diabetes right around his 3rd birthday. We've been up and down with it. A lot to learn, a lot to understand about food. Cameron's done a great job. A few seizure opportunities have come our way.
He's an extremely active boy, exercises a lot, and it seems to all kick in the middle of the night. He's had a number of seizures which required glucagon. We as a family have worked really hard together. We don't get a lot of sleep, but that's just what diabetic families do. They don't get a lot of sleep. Cameron, how do you feel about your diabetes?
Pretty bad, but sometimes pretty good.
That's good.
Excellent, well done.
Which parts do you like?
I like it when it's like when I'm perfect,
When your numbers are perfect, it's fun?
and when I get to have candy.
Okay.
Of course, wonderful.
And what don't you like about it?
I hate it when we change my site.
When you change your site?
Cameron's on an insulin pump, and it requires every 3 days a new site that transfers the insulin from the pump into his body. So that's one of the most difficult parts. Mitchell, what do you do as a brother to help?
Well, when me and Cameron play around or something, when he gets low, and Cameron starts having a seizure, and that's really scary. So it's hard for me because sometimes there was no adults in the room, and I was there, and he started having one. So
That did happen 2 times. We tested his numbers, and they seemed like they were okay. And I went downstairs to make coffee, and he had a seizure.
We are very strong together. We work very hard together, all of us, and these boys do a great job with each other. Mitchell watches Cameron and takes care of him and has been involved with those seizures, as have I and Sue, of course. And Cameron's been very strong throughout the entire process, learning more and more every day.
The Keymeyer family.
Hi, we're the Keymeyer family, and I'd like to... Sure, he wants to introduce his name.
Jay.
This is Jay, and he's our type 1 diabetic. And
Kate.
this is Kate.
My name is Paige, and this is our son, Luke.
And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about juvenile diabetes and the Research Foundation and some of the great things that this Research Foundation is doing. And they're working on amazing things such as regenerating cells and some replacement therapy for some of the things that could help with diabetes and some of the progress that they're working on. So some of the things that they're doing is they've got a new device that they have funded, and it's a continuous glucose monitor. Those with diabetes will be able to see what their blood glucose levels are throughout.
Almost in real time,
yeah, almost
right?
in real time. So
every 5 seconds, I believe.
every 5 seconds, and they're making some great advancements and potentially coming up with a closed loop system, which would be similar to an artificial pancreas. So those are some of the things that the Research Foundation is working on. They're a very efficient organization, and 85% of their money that they receive goes towards research and education. So I encourage you to support this cause for diabetes. You know, I wanted to just share a little story with you about my son and something that he experienced recently. He was going swimming and he took his pump off. He wears an insulin pump to treat his diabetes. And he was at swim practice and he had to take the pump off to go to practice. Afterwards he had baseball practice and we had forgot to put the pump on him. And he said to me, "Well, geez, Dad, none of the kids are going to know I'm a diabetic. Isn't that neat?" So our hope is that with your help, someday Jay won't have to worry about that, and we'll come up with a cure for diabetes.
So I don't have to whoop off my sister.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We appreciate all of your support, and the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation has already changed lives, but there's so much more to do, and they're very close to finding that cure. So with your help, we're sure they can do it.
1, 2, 3, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Katie Moore, and I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes almost 6 years ago. And it's definitely been stressful. I mean, growing up is stressful in itself, but diabetes is always like an extra thing you have to deal with. And I mean, I remember in 4th grade, I wasn't invited to my best friend's birthday party because it was at a candy store. And like, it's just those little things that are hard dealing with. And I know that I'm going to have to deal with it for the rest of my life unless a cure is found during my lifetime. And so it's just, I've come to terms with it, and I figured out how to deal with it and how to stay healthy so I can do the things that all my other friends do. And I can play sports, I can go out, you know, I can do everything. I just have to constantly be monitoring my blood sugar and paying attention to how I feel, and I always have to have my supplies.
I guess as a parent of a type 1 diabetic teenager, being the parent of a teenager is difficult enough, we all know that. But when your teenager is diabetic, you have a different level of concern because you have to be concerned about them getting behind the wheel of a car, for example, and driving. What if they have a low while they're driving? You have to be, constantly asking them, have you checked your blood sugar? Have you, made the latest correction? So it's difficult enough, again, raising a teenager, but when you've got a diabetic teenager, you're just on them that much more, and frankly, they're at that time trying to be as independent as they can be, and it just makes for a very stressful time. We're lucky that Katie is very independent and does know how to take care of herself, but it still adds a lot of stress to the family.
I really appreciate everyone who's working to find a cure and research a cure, because if I didn't have to deal with living with this for the rest of my life, that would be great. But I know that if I do, it's something that's doable. It's not impossible.
Hi, we're the Keatings. I'm Greg, my wife Karen, my daughter Sydney, and my son Connor. Connor was diagnosed at 7 with type 1 diabetes, and our first experience with MUSC was on the day that he was diagnosed. From his pediatrician, they sent us immediately into the emergency room there at MUSC Children's, and right from the start they made us feel comfortable and just got us used to what was going on, and the doctors were just fantastic during a very, very difficult time.
They actually were great. I didn't want to go home. I was afraid to go home, and they told me that if I really wanted to stay for an extra day to get a little more education, they would let us stay. They were very, very great about making us feel comfortable with dealing with this new disease and learning how to take care of him and make sure he's healthy. And ever since then, every appointment that we've gone to, they're wonderful, they're very supportive. And I know, Connor, you have a favorite doctor.
Dr. Bobby.
Yeah, and what was the favorite thing? What'd you do there when we were there the whole time?
Go to the atrium.
What's in there?
All fun stuff to do, like board games.
Board games? That was cool. You look forward to that every day, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, MUSC's got a great children's hospital. They really have a fantastic staff, and like Connor was talking about, the atrium, every morning he'd wake up and say, when's the atrium open? And it's a great children's area. They bring in animals and they bring in people from different places to teach the kids and play with the kids. And if the parents need to have a meeting with the doctor, you can leave them in the atrium with a person, a staff member in there. And they were really, really fantastic. And we've really had a great experience with the whole hospital.
We'd like to thank MUSC for all that they did for us and everybody that needs them. They'll do a great job for them. And it's great to be a part of Abby's Friends, and we hope you have a good day.
Hello, my name is Kevin McKinley, and this is
Reagan McKinley.
We're a local family with diabetes. We've been dealing with Reagan's disease since she was 2.5. First thing I'd like to say is I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight, for supporting the families that have to deal with this disease and the children that are affected by it in their everyday lives. One particular organization that a lot of the money is going to, which is one that's very dear to me, is Camp Adam Fisher. It's a camp that's specifically for kids with type 1 diabetes. Reagan's been going the past couple of years, and you always seem to have a good time, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
What type of activities do you like to do at camp?
I like tubing, jet skiing, and horseback riding.
What about blobbing?
Blobbing too.
The thing that's so neat about the camp is that the children who have type 1 diabetes get to associate with kids that are dealing with the same types of things that they do. And Reagan doesn't have the same opportunity to go to regular camps like other kids do because they're just not set up and designed to take care of kids who are managing their diabetes on a daily basis. So the support that you give the camp through things like this not only allows to help kids like Reagan, but it also allows for kids that don't have the money to go in terms of grants to the fund through the cause. So again, as a parent and as a family that deals with diabetes, thank you so much for coming tonight and for supporting all the great causes for juvenile diabetes.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Deborah Bowlby. I'm one of the pediatric endocrinologists at MUSC, and I'm here just to tell you a little bit about type 1 diabetes. Most of you in the room know a lot about type 1 diabetes, how it affects your child and your family on a day-to-day basis. But for those of you who don't know a lot about type 1 diabetes, it's an autoimmune condition where your body produces antibodies against the pancreas, specifically the cells that produce insulin. So children who have type 1 diabetes don't make enough insulin. Thus, they need insulin on a daily basis in order to keep themselves healthy. Why does someone get diabetes? People are born with a predisposition to developing type 1 diabetes. Then something triggers the autoimmune process. We don't know exactly what that trigger is or why it happens at certain times. We are very fortunate at MUSC to have a wonderful team that allows us to take care of our patients. And what Abby's Friends has been able to do for us is help us in order to provide more support for our patients, specifically with education with regards to diabetes. On behalf of MUSC, I would like to thank all of you tonight and Abby's Friends for your continued support for our diabetes programs at MUSC. Thank you.